Hello and welcome again to another episode of Nerf News, your number one source for Nerf news on the net. I'm your host Drac, and today we're giving you an expert opinion on the Doomlands 2169 Negotiator. What is this blaster? Well, it's obviously a revolver. It's obviously Doomlands 2169 because it's right up in your face, tons of orange, with a black kind of diesel punk styling for the grip and handle, as well as this obvious translucent area showing our internals, which I've noted before I think is a very sweet feature, although I do not think that this is a very sweet blaster, and I'll tell you why. One, it is redundant. Two, in addition to being redundant, it is strictly worse than the competition, which is notably the Hammer Shot and the Lawbringer. The Lawbringer, of course, being this huge chunk of plastic. Now, mine is, of course, cut down, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but the Hammer Shot is a smaller blaster capable of having up to 8 shots these days, which is insane, with 3D printed accessories, but ships with 5, so for an extra 3 shots, you get this monster here. Now, it's huge. It's way bigger than it needs to be. Everything from here down is completely unnecessary, as is everything from here up, and this is actually detrimental. Look at this line of sight. That is egregious. That means that your darts are coming out roughly here, you're priming here and firing through here, but your line of sight is up top, and they're encouraging you to add optics to that. Just crazy. This blaster is not efficient, nor does it look particularly ergonomic for how you would want to fire it, and it looks heavier than it needs to be. It's just a really big pistol. Now, there's nothing wrong with a really big pistol. It can be fun. This was intentional, of course. I wanted to make a really big pistol, but this has 12 shots. And this has 8. So if you're going to make a really big pistol, make one with a far better line of sight. This is relatively flat up top. And get your extra capacity. And there's really no excuse for this because I anticipate this will cost more than the Hammer Shot and less than the Lawbringer. I'm guessing it'll be around 25 to 20 United States dollars, but Amazon's flipping the Doomlands Lawbringer right now for a low $30, and you get the extra stuff that you're going to cut off of it if you want to make a really big pistol. And these pieces are valuable to people who are modders. Now, maybe that's not your cup of tea, but I think it's so easy, this modification of just sawing stuff off, that it's definitely worth noting that this is strictly better than this in terms of its ergonomics and its overall capacity. It also doesn't have all this extra stuff down here. You can see it's much lighter on that nonsense. Now, let's talk about this real quick. This is, of course, the gray trigger that was leaked on Snapchat. I don't even like Snapchat as a platform, but I guess it had to be international friendly. This is a separate image that was sent to me by a friend. It looks like it's from Nerf's Instagram, and it has an orange trigger, which means that this will come in both powers. It'll come in Elite Power for America Land and Canada up top, as well as anywhere else that normally gets those regular powered blasters, and it'll come in the Aussie spec slash I think the UK also gets gray triggers. It's hard to say. That just means a down powered spring. This is, of course, identical to Hammer Shot internals as far as I can tell in here, which means that the same replacement springs and kits that work in those kinds of blasters. Now, maybe not the hammer, but definitely the springs will fit into this, just like they fit into the Lawbringer and everything else. Now, I don't think that this is a solid buy. I think that it's a bad buy. I would definitely wait for it to go on sale. But again, since the Lawbringer's been out for a while now, I would wait for some holiday seasonal sales on this and just pick one of these guys up on Amazon for like 20 United States dollars, because I think that this is a much better blaster with more going for it. They're both ridiculous oversized pistols, which, don't get me wrong, I think that there's a place for those. There will always be a place for giant pistols in my heart. I'm looking at you, Cyclone Shock, but I don't like this one. I don't like the line of sight. I don't like the tiny capacity for the giant shell. And basically, I don't like that they're just redoing something that they've already done. Like, this is basically a smaller version of the Lawbringer. They're in the same line. They look very similar. This is like trying to squeeze more dollars out of people this holiday season, and I just don't dig that. I'm really waiting for Nerf to focus on its core competencies, make good blasters in either new lines or better blasters in their existing lines. This is strictly a step backwards from the Lawbringer, and I would much rather see the brand move forwards. Now, I do have a small announcement. as some of you who pay close attention to the channel know, I was in Singapore. I had an absolute blast, and I know that the big question is, Drac, where's all the content from Singapore? Well, my Wi-Fi wasn't so great, and obviously I had no actual cellular service while I was over there, so I took tons of footage. I had an absolute blast. This is me at an official Explorer War, which makes me a ranger at long last, showing that I am super duper silly wearing a neon shirt in what wound up being a jungle war. So this was not the best choice of clothing, especially since I wore shorts, but that's me testing out a prototype shell for the new X-Zeus 2, and it is pretty sweet. You can see the GoPro proving that I got plenty of footage to share with you guys. Had an absolute blast at that war. Can't wait to share that stuff with you. So that is what's coming up on the channel, and that's why this was a little bit late. I wanted to wait until I got home to make this video because I couldn't upload it while I was over there anyway. So that's my take on the Doomlands 2169 Negotiator. This one's a pretty strong, easy pass for me. If you have any reason to disagree with me, as always, this is an open platform. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know why you like the Negotiator, if you like the Negotiator, because I am super duper open-minded and would love to hear your ideas, because I honestly don't know what I'm going to do with one when I get one. So I'd love to know what I should do with this. Much love, Nerf on, Drac out. Thanks for watching.